One of the things that surprised me the most when I started going down the route of personal development was how many freaking things were gonna kick my feet out from under me. Let me explain. Hey, before you start the podcast episode, I just want to lay out a couple terms and conditions that you're going to have to follow in order to watch this show. The first one is go ahead and follow so you never miss another episode of the podcast ever again. The second one is share this episode with a friend who might find value in what I said or what a guest spoke about. And the third one is go ahead, if you haven't already, write a review for the podcast. It's one of the only ways that this podcast gets shown to other people and we get to grow the show organically. And without further ado, let's get you into the next episode of Not Another Podcast. I hope you enjoy. What's going on? You probably gathered from the intro that my name is Che, and this is the Not Another Podcast. So, I want to talk to you about the things that absolutely swept my feet out from under me. What do I mean by that? In my experience with personal development and trying to personally develop myself, one of the messages that I found was, my mess is my message. That hit, first of all, smack in the face. I was like, oh man, my mess is my message. And if people get any value from me as a person, or if people get any value from me as a person, they'll get value out of how I'm handling my messes, my life, because everybody is dealing with messes. Everybody's dealing with things in their life. So first off, that hit me in the face. I was like, my mess is my message. But my mess was made much more clear when I started going down the road of personal development. What I mean by that is the more podcast episodes I would listen to that are between 15 to 20 minutes long, 25 minutes long, and some of them are between 60 to 90 minutes long, or even 120. I can do quick math. It's fine. I was homeschooled. 120 minutes long. The really long ones, the hour and a half, 2-hour podcasts that really go into depth about it, about the human persona, about your personality, about your habits, about how important everything is around you. My mess became a lot more clear when all of these people started calling out my BS. The very first thing was executing. I believed that I was executing to my fullest potential. I was experiencing burnout. These podcasts started giving me more daily methods and daily things to try and to become better at operating in my day-to-day life and becoming more efficient. Things similar to like time blocking or management, stuff like that. Ways to manage your energy, ways to sleep better. Started doing these little tiny things and I was like, whoa, I'm wasting so much freaking time. The other thing that kind of swept my feet out from under me was happiness is not pleasure, it's peace. So we all know that for the most part, parties, drugs, alcohol, most of it's numbing. Some people actually do enjoy it, but it's mostly numbing to your problems, to your pain. You're trying to numb your reality. So I know that happiness isn't pleasure, but you can also find pleasure in things that you do on the daily that make you happy, truly, genuinely. But when I heard the quote, happiness is not pleasure, it's peace, realizing that you are at peace with the reality around you and do nothing to try to escape it, but only to impact or improve or to create more of what's around you, to create more, but you're at peace with what's around you and you're never trying to change it, run from it, or I don't know, just kind of hit me in the face and I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. One of the biggest punches in the mouth that I've gotten so far from my journey down personal development is what you say. What comes out of your mouth to yourself, to other people, and to the environment around you. One of the biggest punches in the mouth was when people started saying things and putting things into context, and my realization of, oh crap, I say a lot of these things, and I probably shouldn't be saying them. One of them, or two of them, I guess, but one of the phrases that we need to pay attention to is I am. I am stupid. I am fat. I am bad at this. I am a terrible blank. you shouldn't be saying those things. And when I realized, I listened to an episode about this. Rob Dial actually has an episode specifically on this that says the two most important words in the alphabet, or in the English language, is I am, because they're identifiers. You can feel anxious today. You can feel unmotivated today, but you should not say I am unmotivated. I am anxious. Whatever comes after I am determines who you are in that moment. And the way that he puts it is, would you ever look at a car across the street and say, oh, look, I am that car? Would you ever look at a triangle on a screen and be like, I am that triangle. That triangle is me. That triangle is me. I am the triangle. Everything about it is the same. Would you look at a $100 bill and say, I am that $100? Well, maybe. No, I'm kidding. But the point is that I am is one of the most important things that you can say to yourself. And ultimately, what all of this boils down to is self-awareness and what you're chasing. The first step to doing anything is acknowledgement or admittance that you are where you are now. You have to acknowledge where you're at, what your skill sets are, what your habits are, who you are, and then from there you can act. You don't act and then find who you are. I mean, you kind of have to in daily life. You have to figure out who you are by trying things. But ultimately, you have to be aware of what's around you in order to do any crazy self-improvement. So I know that this was kind of a short one. I really didn't have much to say this week, but I didn't want to feed another 45 to 85 minute podcast episode with a guest down your throat. Those are getting kind of extreme, I know. I need to lay off those. I need to start doing more of the one-off episodes. Those seem to get received a lot better and get listened to more, and provide more people value because they're shorter and easier to consume, whereas the guest ones are a little bit longer, harder to consume. I know, I'm working on it. This one wasn't very long, and I know it wasn't very long, but I really wanted to just throw out a few of the best things that I've learned in the personal development space as I've been pursuing a better self in myself. Or just, that's it. Just the things that I've been learning along the journey. Pay attention to what you say and who you say it to and what you're putting out into the world, because whatever you're putting out into the world will inevitably come back to you in some way. So if you're putting good out there, you're going to get good back. If you put bad out there, you're going to get bad back. The other thing is, my mess is my message. You don't have it figured out, and neither do I. I just took a step that then put me in front of a camera that now I have a podcast. What? But nobody has it figured out. Nobody at 28 has it figured out. Nobody at 17 has it figured out. Nobody at 65 has it figured out. Your mess is your message, and you best be sharing that, because your situation, even though it might be similar to other people's out there, nobody's ever heard it from your point of view before. And I know that's cliche. I know that is extraordinarily cliche. But seriously, the right communication at the right time to the right person can seriously change a world. So, my mess or your mess is my or your message. The last one being, happiness is not peace, it's pleasure. Or it's not pleasure, it's peace. I got that backwards. Happiness is not pleasure, it's peace. Being at peace with the environment around you, the people around you, and your situation, and not looking to escape or change it. Yeah, those have been some of the biggest things that I've learned. I hope you really, I hope this provided you a little bit of value. Look into those premises that I talk about. I am and self-identifiers. My mess is my message, and happiness is not peace, or is not pleasure, it's peace. I keep getting that backwards. Look into those things. It's really helped me on the daily to be able to keep those in mind, no matter what I'm doing, no matter what I'm trying out. And having these things in mind has made trying new things significantly easier. And I know it doesn't directly relate to anything as far as the content creation goes, as far as whatever, but understanding it and having that self-awareness and at least going down that road. I can't say I've got it figured out. I don't have it figured out, but I've started down the road of understanding it and trying to, at the very least, and putting that effort in, which has made things significantly easier just in daily life. I don't know what it is about it, but it almost puts me more at peace knowing that I'm trying to understand these things than I ever felt when I simply accepted that, whatever, or tried to blame, or didn't take accountability. Accountability is another big one, but I'm not going to go down that road now. So, I hope this provided you some value. Let me know where you're at in this journey, if you've heard of all these things, or if you're just hearing these for the first time. I would love to hear it. Shoot me a message on DM at 5che on Instagram, or Nott on TikTok. I would love to hear from you guys. I really would like to grow this podcast and, make it something that's worth something. I know it's worth something even where it's at now, but, I'd love to get this to a point where more people are hearing it, providing feedback, so I can really try to figure out where I want to take this podcast based on consumer feedback and, what kind of gets my gears turning. So, again, hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that episode of Not Another Podcast. Just like I said in the beginning, I would greatly appreciate it if you would go write us a review, follow the podcast so you never miss another episode, and share this with one friend who might find value in what I or a guest said during the show. Rob Dial always says, make it your mission to make somebody else's day better, and that quote, ever since I started listening to his podcast, has really changed my thinking as far as how I go about my daily life. So, with that being said, I'm going to leave you the way that Rob Dial leaves you every single episode. Make it your mission to make somebody else's day better, and I hope that you guys have an amazing day.